Namaste and welcome to Nirvega Vidya. In this video, we shall look at the third chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita, which is Karma Yoga. Now, the third chapter commences with Arjuna asking a question to Krishna as to why he needs to engage in battle if knowledge is greater than action. Now, in the previous chapter, which is the second one, which is called Sankhya Yoga, we find Krishna extolling knowledge in multiple places. He tells Arjuna about attaining this knowledge. He tells Arjuna about how a man of knowledge acts, all of that. So Arjuna gets the natural question, Krishna, if you think knowledge is better than action, why is it that you are asking me to engage in this terrible action where I am required to, battle my own relatives, my own friends and gurus, and defeat them, kill them, injure them in battle? Why are you asking me to engage in this if knowledge is better than action? Now, Krishna replies by saying that there are two disciplines that he has set forth for people to follow. And what are these? Sankhya and Yoga. We already covered these briefly in the previous video. Sankhya here refers to the stream of Jnana Yoga. And Yoga here is an umbrella term which refers to all other streams apart from Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, Hatha Yoga, all of them. So Krishna says that these two streams have been set forth by him for people with different tendencies. Those who are more inclined towards actions, they prefer the stream of yoga. Whereas those who are more intellectually oriented, those who are more inclined towards knowledge, they prefer the stream of Sankhya. So Krishna says that these are the two streams that he has set forth. And he also tells Arjuna that perfection cannot be attained by mere renunciation of work, since no man can be free of action even for a moment. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishthatya karma kriti. Kagyate hyavashah karma sarvav prakriti jairgunahi. Which means no man can be without action even for a moment because his inherent tendencies will force him to engage in actions. He is helpless in that respect. There is no man who can completely stop himself from engaging in actions. It is impossible. And he also says one who merely controls his sense organs but lets his mind dwell on objects is a hypocrite. The next concept we are looking at is the concept of yagna, because Krishna clearly says that all actions by their own nature are binding upon a man, but only if an action is done as a yagna, it does not bind him. And therefore, the importance of yagna becomes clear in that statement. Krishna says that one who keeps his senses under control and does work that is prescribed of him in an unattached way is a karma yogi. And as I said, he also extols yagna. Yagna here does not merely refer to the yagna that we find in the karma kanda of the Vedas, not merely those rituals. Yagna here is used to mean nishkama karma, which is action without desire, action which is done without expectation of a fruit. That is yagna, that action which is done as a sacrifice. So, yajna as the only action that does not lead to bondage. Krishna says that yajna is the tool for one to attain what one desires and also the means for the devas, the supernatural deities, Agni, Varuna, Yama, all of them, and humans to mutually nourish one another. He says that when humans engage in yajna, the gods are nourished by the performance of yajna. And when the gods are nourished, they bestow upon us whatever we desire. And therefore, a mutual process of nourishment takes place because of yajna, with yajna as the tool. To drive home the significance of yajna, Krishna presents the yajna chakra, which is an important concept which we find in the third chapter. Also a very popular concept, which begins by Krishna saying, Annad bhavanti bhutani, which means all living beings are the product of food, come out of food. It is food which nourishes the physical body. It is food which keeps us alive. And therefore, it is food which gives us our life. And therefore, all living beings come out of food. Food itself is produced by rain. Rain is produced by the performance of yajna. This is a belief of the Vedic times. We find this mentioned in many places that it is yajna which results in rain. And yajna itself is the result of karma, work. These karma are found in the karma kanda of the Vedas, and the Vedas themselves are they come out of the imperishable reality. Call it God or Brahman, whatever. They are not of human origin, so they are from the imperishable reality, Aksharam. Therefore, the all-pervasive reality is rooted in yajna, since it is essential for the functioning of the universe. Basically, what Krishna tries to say here is that yajna is necessary. The performance of yajna is absolutely necessary for the proper functioning of the universe, and therefore all people need to resort to it. Now, certain key points from the third chapter about Karma Yoga. For self-realized people, that is, men who have realized the knowledge of Sankhya, there is no duty to perform. For a person like a Ramana Maharishi or a Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, they have no duties to perform as such because they have no desires. They have gone beyond the realm of desires. But still, Krishna says that these people still engage in actions for the welfare of the world, Loka Sangraha, which is an important concept, and to guide those who look up to them. So they perform actions with detachment as karma yogis. Krishna himself says to Arjuna in the third chapter that, Arjuna, I do not have anything that I expect out of any of these three worlds. I do not have anything that I need to win by my actions. And yet I engage in actions without any break, because if I stop working, people will get the wrong impression about me. People who look up to me will think that, oh, Krishna is not doing any actions and therefore we too shall not do actions, and that would be a wrong message to send to people. So because with this intention in my mind, I ceaselessly engage in actions. That is what Krishna says. To think of oneself as the performer of an action is ignorance, since all works are done by prakriti, natural forces. Here I think Krishna tries to create a synthesis of Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga, where he tries to say that it is the knowledge that everything is done by prakriti. It is the knowledge that our entire physical existence, our entire mental and intellectual existence, all of this is rigorously bound by the law of cause and effect, is rigorously under mechanism. It is that knowledge which leads one to perform actions without a sense of egoism, attached to it. We think that we are the initiators of certain actions, things that we do willfully. We think that we are the doers of it. But Krishna says that this is an erroneous understanding, because the sense of free will that we attach to ourselves is wrong, is something which is fundamentally mistaken. There is no such thing as free will. Swami Vivekananda goes to the extent of saying free will itself is a misnomer, because what is free cannot be the will, and what is the will cannot be free. It's like saying cold fire. It's a misnomer. It's an oxymoron. So what Krishna tries to say here is that the understanding that you are completely determined, every aspect of the personality is completely determined, is what leads one to become a karma yogi, because he realizes that he is not the doer. This is not merely just telling oneself repeatedly, I'm not the doer, I'm not the doer, I'm going to do action selflessly. It is not a process of telling oneself and convincing oneself. It is a process of realization where one actually intellectually grasps the idea that there is no such thing as an action out of free will. There is no such thing as an action which I myself alone am responsible for. There are numerous factors. There are causes to all our thoughts. There are causes to all our intentions, desires, feelings, everything. The entire mental spectrum is completely under bondage. With this knowledge, you do actions as a karma yogi, because when you understand that you are not the doer, then you are not eligible for any of the fruits. If they come, let them come. But if they don't, you have no expectation to demand them. So I see this verse as Krishna's attempt to create a link between Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga. To perform one's duty, which is Swadharma, is superior to performing that of others, which is Paradharma. In the first chapter, we find Arjuna saying, when he's in the state of distress, he goes to the extent of saying, rather than killing all these people who are my gurus and my relatives and friends, I'd rather go to a forest and live as a beggar. I'd rather go there and live as a sannyasin. I'll beg for my food. I'll live the life of a sannyasin. I think that would be preferable to this. Even if victory in this battle gives me all the riches on earth, I still do not want that. I want to become, I think living on alms is more noble than engaging in this endeavor. So what he tries to say there is that I'd rather do the dharma of another person, because I find it more noble than the dharma which I have to do here. And Krishna says that is a wrong understanding. He goes to the extent of saying that even if you die in the performance of your swadharma, that is preferable to excelling in the performance of paradharma. And therefore we find Krishna trying to counter that point, which is placed by Arjuna. And he says that doing your swadharma, even if it lacks in merit, is much better than doing a paradharma, even if it is full of merit. So That's another important point from the third chapter. Now, this is the final topic we'll be covering in this video, and this is a very important and an interesting topic. It is particularly, I think, very interesting for people who are psychologically oriented. Arjuna asks Krishna, what impels man to commit sins even if he does not wish to do so? Athakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi varshneya baladiva niyojitaha, which means what is that which impels man to engage in actions even if he knows that they are bad? Anichannapi, even if he has no icha for them, even if he has no desire to engage in them. What is it which pushes him? What is that force which makes him engage in actions knowing that they are bad? Now, this shloka is significant because I once listened to a lecture by a sannyasin who said that this shloka gives the exact reason why the Bhagavad-Gita was delivered to Arjuna and not to Duryodhana. There is a question raised by certain people, a natural question, that why couldn't have Krishna just delivered the Bhagavad-Gita to Duryodhana? Because if he had attained this knowledge, if he had known all this, he would have been a reformed man, and then the entire Kurukshetra battle could have been avoided altogether. Why did Krishna not do that? Why did Krishna not make any efforts to, basically asking, why did Krishna not make any efforts to completely avoid the war? Now, there are various counter arguments given to this. One being that Krishna did try his level best, but it still didn't materialize. But this shloka is significant because it gives us insight into the mindset of Arjuna and Duryodhana. Arjuna here basically is asking Krishna for an explanation and a help out of this phenomenon. The phenomenon being that there are things that I know are good and there are things that I know are bad. I'm very clear on that. And yet I cannot control my mind and my physical body from engaging in those actions. I intellectually know that a certain action is bad, but my mind still feels the desire to do it and my body does it. Why is it that this happens? The very concept of addiction, if you look at it that way, is that only we know certain things are bad, but yet we are pushed to do them. This is the mindset of Arjuna. Whereas when we come to Duryodhana famously said, Janami dharmam nachame pravrittihi, Janami adharmam nachame nivrittihi, which means I know what is dharma, Janami dharmam, nachame pravrittihi. I have no desire or no motivation to engage in them. I have no pravritti to do them. Janami adharmam, I know what is bad, I know what is unrighteous action. Nachame nivriti, and yet I feel no repulsion when it comes to those actions. I feel nothing stopping me from engaging in them. That is the mindset of Duryodhana, and he is content with it. He does not seek a way out of it. He does not seek an explanation to this. He does not want to come out of this sense of bondage. This is the key difference between Duryodhana and Arjuna, wherein Arjuna needed a solution for this. Arjuna needed a solution out of the bondage of the mind, whereas Duryodhana did not need so. And this is the reason why the Bhagavad Gita was given to Arjuna, because he needed the answer, whereas Duryodhana was very content with it. So that is one of the reasons why, that's one of the key differences between the mindset of Arjuna and Duryodhana. It's an interesting shloka because it gives insight into that. Krishna replies by saying that it is kama and krodha which are born out of rajas. Kama meaning desire and krodha meaning anger. Now, kama and krodha need not be seen as two different things, but as one leading to another, in the sense that we saw in the second chapter, the sequence that Krishna gives, where he says, Sangat sanjayate kama, kamat krodho vijayate. Krodha is the offspring of kama. When our desires are unfulfilled, they lead to anger and wrath. So, krodha is born out of desire, kama. He says, Kamayesha Krodhayesha Rajoguna Samudbhavaha. Kama and Krodha arising out of the guna of Rajas in man are what instigate one to commit sin. Kama resides in the senses, the mind, and the intellect and obscures the knowledge of man, being his great enemy. Thus, one has to restrain the senses by the mind by the intellect, and the intellect by the self, and perform actions by giving up all desires, kama. And this is the essence of Karma Yoga. So with that, we come to a brief summary of the third chapter, and we come to the end of this video. If you liked the video and found it useful, please do subscribe to our channel and also share the video with whoever you think would benefit from it. That would be a great way of showing your support in our endeavor. Thank you.